Well, it seems like the Walt Disney Company is not finished off with laying people off now, as more layoffs are approaching. Hey guys, this is Dash Shell Rose here. I am back with some more videos. This time I have a news-related video talking about, once again, the Walt Disney Company. I'm here to talk about it because apparently they're now having more layoffs. More of them coming. And all that. And I kind of want to discuss this and all of that, and I do want to apologize too if my card things are not looking the best. I'm trying to come up with different ones, and I'll have to change them up a little bit, so I put, the word layoffs there and all that, so if you see me changing things up like that, I just wanted to let you know I'm trying to make them different, so that way it doesn't look like you're watching the same video, But, basically, yeah, I just wanted to point that out, so, I don't have to point that out every single time I do this. Also, I want, if you guys want to, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. There I'll be posting stuff occasionally, so you guys can keep up to date on there, and all that. And I don't think I have a whole lot to say about this, so let's go ahead and get into this. Let's talk about this. So yeah, apparently we're getting even more layoffs with the Walt Disney Company. Honestly, I'm not very shocked with this. I'm not, this company is, I said before, I'll say it again, this company is literally bankrupt. It is freaking bankrupt. I mean, they've struggled in the past. They've had their ups and downs, but they have never been this bad before. They are doing horrible. Hardly anything that they're producing is making money, in the box office. I mean, they have a few movies, which I'll talk about here in a second. But most of their movies from the last few years have been bombs. Since basically, I think I noticed this downfall since, I think, 2017 or 18, is when I noticed people were starting to not like the movies that they were putting out, and they were starting to go downhill. A lot of people say it was when Chapek, took over, but a lot of the stuff was before he even became the CEO, but I mean, even though he was the one who allowed a lot of these films still to be produced, a lot of them were made, and all before he became the CEO, and some of them were announced before that, but I'll get into that in a second. But we also, have, the parks. The parks are not doing as well anymore because they keep jacking the prices up, and not only that, but not only are they jacking the prices up, but they keep re-theming crap that doesn't need to be re-themed, because people, a lot of people like to go to the parks, to experience, the nostalgic stuff, they want to feel nostalgic going to Disney World and Disneyland. They can't do that because they keep fucking re-theming their damn rides and all that because they're problematic. Like, they re-themed, Splash Mountain. Now, apparently, I hear they've been planning on doing that for years, but they finally did it, and they replaced it with Princess and the Frog, which, I mean, that's a popular popular thing, It was a popular movie. It didn't do very well in the box office, but which is kind of why they, shut down all their, their 2D animation stuff and all that, which I really wish they didn't do that, but there's not really much you can do there, But basically, because it didn't do so well, they had to shut it down. But they've been talking about re-theming it to Princess and the Frog for a while, and they did, but what they ended up doing is they made it kind of generic, and they also got rid of Dr. I forgot what his name was. He's basically a voodoo guy, which was one of Disney's best villains. Well, actually, I don't know if I'd say best villains. I can't really say that because I haven't really seen a lot of Disney movies. I do plan on watching them here in the future after I'm done with my Sony and DreamWorks reviews, but I will say, from what I've seen, he's a pretty good villain, I will say that, but basically they wouldn't do that because they didn't want to offend people who are voodoo stuff. And I'm like, if people don't like that, there's other crap they can do. Don't ruin it for other people who actually like the stuff, you know. You know, just because a handful of people, you know, don't like that stuff, you know. Because people believe in different stuff, you know. I'm not a religion person. I don't know if voodoo is. I think it might be a religion thing. But I wouldn't go and ban churches and all that because I don't want to go, you know. Or I wouldn't like if other people did it, you know, because I'm not a religion person, you know. Just because I'm a small, you know, I'm one of the small amounts of people I don't like it, you know. If I don't like church, I don't go to it, you know. The same thing with this ride here. Just because some people get offended by the voodoo and crap does not mean you need to go and ban this shit, you know. So yeah, basically they rethemed it and made it worse. And on top of that, you know, they got Epic Universe coming and it's gonna kick their ass. So, yeah, it's pretty bad there. And apparently I hear that they did settle down, I think, with, they did actually settle down with, the cast members at the, you know, the parks and all that, so they won't go on strike, which honestly, I don't think it's gonna be solved. I think they're basically gonna stay, they settled it now, but I have a feeling they're gonna find a way to screw over the cast members in the future. Because, you know, Disney's also got animatronics and all that, so they can start replacing, like people who are dressed as Mickey Mouse or Goofy or, you know, any Disney character and replace them with animatronics. They could. They could literally do it. I mean, we have AI right now as it is replacing people. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard and all that. So I feel like, you know, them threatening Disney like that, they should have just not even gave them a chance. They should have just freaking, you know, just went on strike. Or actually, better yet, they should have just freaking left Disney and went to Universal or something, you know? Because they would have been treated a lot better there. They would have been treated a whole lot better there than they are, you know, here, you know, and all that. I mean, you know, where they work, you know. Because Disney does this thing all the time. They'll say they're gonna do something, and most of the time they will not fucking do it. They'll just say that to get you off their back until they find a way to screw you over, and they screw you over and all that. And I mean, it's getting harder and harder for them to get away with it, but they have gotten away with it in the past. So yeah, but the thing is though, because they're losing so much money, their stock is also in the toilet. Their stock is, I think, I've seen it go down to the 80s. I think it's back up into the 90s, but that's because, you know, they had, like, 2 movies that have done really well. Like, they had Inside Out 2 and, Deadpool and Wolverine that have done really well. Both of those movies have done really well. I think it's Wolverine or is it X-Men? No, I think it's Wolverine. Yeah, it's Wolverine. Both of those movies have done really well. So, you know, basically their stock is kind of going up again. The problem is though those are 2 movies I will admit they are doing really well. They are. I won't say they're not. But the thing is though is they had a few, you know, good movies in the last few years and all that, but they still had a lot of horrible movies. I mean, 2022, for example, like Turning Red. Well, I guess Turning Red technically didn't really do very well, but well, it was, you know, critics were very split on it, but it did, you know, I think it did make some money and all that on streaming. You know, it didn't make as much as Inside Out 2 because it wasn't in the theaters, but it did make, you know, some money, but basically, though, is, you know, basically they had some good movies here and there and all that have done really well. And then you have Avatar as well, that movie made a lot of money. It made a lot of money. I don't know if it actually broke even. Actually, I think it may have barely broke even, but that's because that movie, you know, cost a lot of money to make. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, they probably didn't make a lot of their money back on that movie either, but But my thing is, though, is they've had some good movies here, so they still have some people in the company that at least care about their fans and want to make good stuff. The problem is, though, is basically, most of the people in the company that are, that make all this crap don't care about their fans. They end up trashing on them and all that and call them out because they don't like their products, which is stupid and all that. I'm like, just freaking make good stuff. It's not that hard and all that. If some people don't like it, that's fine. But when you got, a ton of people out there not liking your stuff, then it seems to be a big problem, especially when you ruin people's childhood movies like Star Wars and all that. Because you want to change up the story and all that to go for a certain audience, which is so stupid and it makes no sense, and I just hate it. I hate that they freaking do that. It sucks. But yeah, basically, yeah, I will say that the last couple movies have done really well. But the thing is, though, is those are like two different movies and all that. I don't think Inside Out 2 really had a lot of competition, I don't think. Actually, is it still in the theaters? I think it's still in the theaters. I think it's still in the theaters, but it didn't have a lot of competition until, like, I think about a month when it was in and all that. So it makes sense for it to make a lot of money. But I will say, what I've seen in the movie, it looks really good. The reason why I say it like that is I did get to go to the theater, but we were late to the theater, so I missed the beginning part. And I was trying to get a drink and all that at the stand. And I was asking a question about, airing some movies that are and all that. So, because I want to watch, I wanted to see if you could, like, rent the theater out and all that, and, like, because you can do that with some theaters. You can rent them out. I don't know about all of them, but you can, like, rent them out. I was thinking about putting, like, one of the movies in there I want to watch, that would be kind of nice. And all that. That's something I really want to do, but, I mean, that would cost a lot of money, but that's something I'd like to do in the future, but what I've seen in that movie, it looked really good, but I can't say what the movie, if it's better than the first one or not, because I haven't seen the whole movie, but it looked really good. It did. It was actually funny and all that, and I liked it, but the thing is, though, is just because they have two, good movies does not mean, that doesn't mean, anything, because, like I said in the past, they've had some movies that were very popular and all that, but that doesn't mean, they can't screw something up, too. So, I'm not saying I want to root for them to, lose here, but I'm just saying that they've done this stuff before and all that, and they turn around and just go back to screwing things up again. So, I would like for them to keep making good movies like this and all that. I don't think it would completely save them, though, because, honestly, they made a lot of stupid choices, like overspending on Fox and all that, and basically they put, like, Bob Iger put the company in debt and all that. I mean, Chapek really didn't do a lot during the pandemic, when the pandemic hit either, but Iger wasn't really there to help out with the company, because he supposedly left, because, I mean, he was retiring. But again, he retired like a month. He retired like a month before the pandemic hit and everything shut down. So he retired like, I think, a month before that all happened. And Chapek out of nowhere, Chapek just got elected as the CEO out of nowhere. Like, Iger knew this was all going to happen. I mean, I heard the virus spreading and all that. I think it may have been a little bit but by the beginning of March, I think, but I heard it was starting to spread and all that, so I knew something was wrong, but but the thing is, though, it's really odd. I'm not gonna say 100% that he knew this, but Iger seems to know a lot about this stuff, and with him being, a big Chinese guy, who's obsessed with the Chinese, your country, and that's where where the disease, started, he probably knew it was spreading really fast over there and over here, because, I mean, China's got, like, a freaking ton of people there. So, so I mean, it makes total sense, and all that. But I mean, I'm not criticizing, Chinese people either, because people might be thinking that. But no, I'm just saying that he is obsessed with the China country and all that. That's why a lot of his stuff, he wants to appeal to them and all that. But that's the thing though, is that it feels really odd how out of nowhere he just suddenly just leaves the company like right before the pandemic hit. Like he knew it was spreading and all that, and he wanted to get out of there before it got really bad, so he had to put up with the crap. So yeah, it felt like he basically kind of just ran away, and he didn't do. I mean, he still could have been involved in some of the shit and all that, but he wasn't involved with any of it. He just fucking left the company and all that, and didn't do shit about it until the pandemic was basically over, and all that, and all that. And the thing is too, a lot of, like, even to this day, they still blame Chapek. A lot of people still blame Chapek, and Iger, is trying to get people to believe that, but a lot of the shit that Chapek's blamed for, Iger's fucking been doing for several years. He's been doing for several years. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of the movies that were released under Chapek were already announced when Iger was still in charge. They already announced a Buzz Lightyear movie when he was in charge. It got delayed because of the pandemic, of course, so it got delayed. But also I think there was other movies too. Yeah, there's a lot of live action movies that were already announced, because those movies take a couple years to make. They take a couple years to make. So he already, announced all that and all that stuff. So the fact is, that, all that those bad movies and all that destroyed the box office and they lost money from it. Basically that would be all on him. And then the whole woke crap too, that was him too. He pushed a lot of the woke stuff and all that, and he's been making stupid decisions left and right. Since he's become the CEO, the Walt Disney Company started feeling way less and less like a great company, and more just corporate stuff. Like, I mean, heck, they even got rid of Playhouse Disney. That was under him too. They fucking replaced Playhouse Disney with a generic channel called Disney Junior and all that. And I mean, that's not really, that didn't really cause, them to lose a lot of money, but I felt like they probably spent some money on the channel. It was unnecessary when they could have kept fucking Playhouse Disney, but I don't know. I don't really know why the hell they did that. They did the same thing with Toon Disney, and they got rid of Toon Disney and all that, and a lot of shit they bought, they've shut down. Like, they shut down, Club Penguin and all that. They shut down their entire gaming company and all that, laid a bunch of people off there, and then, with Fox, yeah, Fox, like I said, Fox is probably the worst, like, one of the worst things Iger has done. And Iger's done a lot of horrible stuff for the company. He has done a lot of horrible stuff. He's done a few good things. I mean, he bought out Pixar, which, was nice, but, I mean, at the same time, he also, he shredded, Circle 7 Animation Studios, who was working, aside with Disney to make more movies. So he basically, got rid of that, and that caused that studio to not make any movies at all. So they kind of just wasted their money on that. And then, on top of that, he was buying out, like, Marvel and all. So he went on a money sprint. And like I said, Fox was probably the worst thing he bought, I mean, I know people are tired of me talking about that, but it's true. I mean, this is literally exactly why they lost money, because he not only overspent on it, he spent way too much money on it, barely got anything out of it. I mean, he got, like Fox's movie library and all that, but a lot of those movies, too, were not made by Fox. Even if you see the 20th Century Fox logo on it, it doesn't mean they were actually made by Fox. A lot of, studios and companies, teamed up, with Fox, like DreamWorks, for example. DreamWorks is owned by, they're owned by Universal, but they teamed up with Fox and all that before Disney bought them out. and all that. So technically, Fox didn't make those movies and all that. And then they also, I mean, they got like a lot of the adult shows, like they got the Simpsons and Family Guy and all that, but those shows ran their course and all that, and basically they got a lot of Fox's movies, but which, I mean, they got a big library of stuff, but a lot of the shit was already ran its course. Like they already had too many Home Alone movies and all that. They had like already too many Ice Age movies and all that. And they basically just gutted Blue Sky, which is something they got from it, and they basically just kept milking, more of that shit that we didn't need. So clearly they lost a lot of money on it. And it just, it sucks. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So, I talked about the whole layoff thing, So remember last year? I think it was last year, or it was the very beginning of this year. Bob Iger, in one of his earnings calls, I think it was last year actually, he talked about how he was planning on selling off, some stuff and all that to make money back. And all that, but guess what? He fucking turned it down. I think he only said that because he was in an interview and all that. He was getting ready to do the earnings call thing and all that, and didn't want to make himself look like a total asshole. But he still made him look like an asshole because he fucking turned around and he's doing this shit. Like, I thought you cared about your employees, Bob. I thought you cared about your employees. Clearly, you in the upper, staff member at Disney don't fucking give a shit about your cast members and all that because you fucking, throw them overboard. He literally fucking lies. He lies all the damn time. He keeps saying he's gonna do shit, but never fucking does it. And I'm sorry if I'm getting pissed off, but I'm so sick of this. I mean, food and shit is really expensive and all that. And I'm sure a lot of these cast members probably got paid a lot anyway, but still, you fucking throw them overboard and all that when you could just sell this shit off you don't need. But no, we're just gonna we're gonna say we're gonna do it. We're gonna say we're gonna do all this shit just to get the fucking, investors, and all that, like in the boards, off our backs so we can fucking continue to make shit and all that and shit on people, and fans who grew up with this great stuff, I mean, they don't need Fox. They could sell Fox off. They don't know what they're doing with Lucasfilm. They could literally fucking sell that off. Besides, like, a couple shows and all that, a lot of them have been bad. Yeah, a lot of them have been really bad and all that. That's the thing, too, with the movies, is it's like, even though Inside Out 2 and the Wolverine movie were both good, well-received movies. They were both good and well-received by fans all over the world. Basically that's how The Mandalorian was. So people were thinking maybe they are going to fix Star Wars. But then they turn around and go right back to fucking it up again, And that's what I'm afraid they're going to do here, too. Even though they made two good movies. Well, technically those were in production for a couple years because, I mean, in D23, they actually, when Chapek was still in charge, right before he got ousted, the movie was announced under him. So if you want to say, these movies were made well because Iger was in charge, these movies were already in production when Chapek was still in charge. And all that. And I'm not saying Chapek, is a great CEO. He didn't do shit to fix the company either. He kind of did what Iger is doing right now. He kind of, he basically, he says he was gonna quit, focusing on woke stuff and focus more on creativity and all that. That's what Iger said, and both of them are fucking liars and don't do shit. They both don't do shit, so, I mean, Chapek, I don't think even knew what he was doing. I mean, I think he was just put in there, and all that, and he was trying to, I mean, to be fair to it, I mean, technically there was the pandemic that hit and all that, and it probably messed some things up and made it hard for him, because, I mean, imagine being a CEO of a massive corporation, for example, like maybe Google or something, and and you just get put in charge and all that, and then all, this chaos happens around the world. I mean, I can totally see, that, but still, he could have done some stuff. He could have sold some stuff off too and all that, but like Iger, he didn't do any of that, and people got laid off. And people were mad at Chapek for that, but I don't hear anybody talking about that with Iger. And the thing is, though, is Iger, I mean, I know some people, probably get their news from somewhere. I'm not saying you guys can't, have your own beliefs and all that. I don't care what people believe as long as they're respectful. But the point is, though, is Iger is flat out doing all this stuff and all that, and people aren't calling him out for it. But when Chapek was doing all this, people were like up his ass and all that. I have lots of YouTubers and all that. Some YouTubers are still saying he's the worst CEO and all that. And basically, Iger has to come back and fix the mess, which is the mess he fucking created. This shit was going downhill before Chapek even came in charge. Even though Toy Story, 4 and all those movies in 2019, did really well, they were also, a lot of them were hated by a lot of people too. They were hated by a lot of people. And that's kind of where I started seeing the downfall, like the very big downfall. I mean, they were having problems before that, but like Ralph Breaks the Internet and all that, but because that movie did really bad too, but I definitely noticed, I'm like, basically these movies are going to do well right now, but once the fans realize what kind of content they're producing, they're going to expect it to be bad and not want to show up. And that's the problem with a lot of this stuff, it's just not, that's the thing. It's just, a lot of this content is not, very good and all that. And the thing is, though, is, now that they've had so many bad years with movies and all that, and not to mention their streaming platform is fucking collapsing, too. It's collapsing. They're trying to be, be Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster? Blockbuster was trying so hard to beat Netflix. And what happened? They went under. They were a massive company that went under. Not to be fair, technically Blockbuster, was a movie studio and a movie, rental place and all that where you could buy and rent stuff and all that. And it went under and all that. But I think I heard some cast members had problems with them too, where they got screwed over and all that as well. But the thing is, though, is, just because, Disney is a lot bigger than that, does not mean they can't fail. If they're not making money anywhere, they could fall like Blockbuster. Because that's exactly what Blockbuster said. Even though they were a small, just normal store chain, they said the exact same thing, and they never beat Netflix. They went under, overspending on stuff and all that, and that's exactly what happened, what's happening with Disney right now. They're kind of going in Blockbuster, they're going in a Blockbuster way, where they're kind of, they're basically in a slow decline, because Blockbuster, when they said they were going to beat Netflix, they filed bankruptcy, and they closed their stores down, but they were still open, but slowly over time, the stores would decrease over time, and eventually they led to one left. I actually hear that store is really popular, but the thing is, though, is with Disney and all that, I think they're getting to the same problem. They're gonna be, if they keep this shit up, they're gonna end up going under like Blockbuster, and that's not a good thing because they own a lot of shit. They own a lot of shit. And if they go under, all the shit they bought goes under with them. So Fox and Lucasfilm and all that, they go under with them. I know a lot of people don't care about it because Disney ruined it, but I care. I want those properties to be sold off. I want them to be sold off to people that actually know what they're doing with them. Like, heck, they could sell Lucasfilm off to like Sony or Netflix or something and get their money back and have someone else, be able to do it instead of laying off people by gutting the shit and all that, because it's not going to solve anything. Just because you lay off people doesn't mean it's going to fix your company. It's just going to piss off not only the fans, because you're ruining the properties because you don't know what they're doing with them, and you're overcharging them for shit, but also, you're basically, sabotaging your cast members and employees who work with these studios and in the parks, all because you don't want to fucking give up something and sell it off. Instead, you want to fucking shut it down, which is not gonna solve your problem because you're basically losing fucking lots of money. So yeah, it's just sad. It's really sad to see what this company has become. And I know I keep saying that, but it's just fucking sad. And the thing is that they're gonna keep laying off people. I don't think there's any way they're gonna save it, because honestly, even like there's like Melts and Pelts and I forgot who the other guy was, but they both sold their stock because I think they know that Disney is probably not gonna be able to be saved. I actually thought it was just Melts and Pelts that had a lot of the stock. I didn't know the other guy did too. But they probably know it's probably too damaged and all that. I mean, technically it could still be saved. It could just take a while, but as long as Iger's in charge of this company, I don't think it's gonna get better. Because again, he's basically he keeps saying he's gonna do something, but doesn't fucking do it. Like I told you, he knows the company's losing money and all that, so he talked about selling stuff off, but I knew he was only lying so he could, well, actually I was hoping he was telling the truth, because, the company needs money, and I like to see those properties get sold off to someone else, because he talked about selling off Hulu or like ABC News, but he ended up not doing that, because it felt like he only said that because of, the calls and the earning calls. So, yeah, I don't know, but it's just sad. Like, I really do hate what this has become. I really wish, Iger never became the CEO. I kind of miss Michael Eisner. I mean, Michael Eisner, even under him, I heard they had issues. I mean, the company was struggling there too, but at least they were still producing good content, even though it was very split at times. I mean, I heard Chicken Little was not a very good movie. I heard it was a dud and all that, but they still had a lot of movies that were doing really well. They had sequels too. I mean, people have complained about the direct-to-DVD sequels, but some of them were actually did really well, and I hear some of them were good. I've seen some of them. Some of them were really good. Some of them were not, but some of them were really good. So I don't know, but it's not looking very good like this. I'm hoping they'll get better, but I don't think they are. I think this company is totally fucked. I think they're fucked. I don't think they're gonna get better. Unless I don't know, unless they get sold off to someone else. I don't think they're gonna get better, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, Chapek, like I said, I mean, people are not now saying that Iger is now getting just as bad as Chapek, but Iger was bad before that. Iger was bad. He was just hiding it more and all that. Well, he wasn't really hiding it more. People just weren't paying attention as much, and all that. But now, now that, he's back and all that, now people are starting to realize all the shit he's been doing. But he's been doing it for years, so. But I've told people this. I told people that he's gonna come back and he's not gonna do shit to save the company and all that, and he's not doing anything. So I don't know. And like I said, I will say this too before I go. Yes, Inside Out 2, and we had another good movie. We might have a couple more good ones that are gonna probably make a lot of money, but all that stuff was also released a couple years ago. What was announced a couple years ago and all that, and I just think I think this company is just screwed, honestly. And them laying off people is not gonna save the company. It's not. It's not gonna save it. They need to just sell off some of this shit and focus more on their own stuff instead of having to focus on properties they bought that they don't know what to do with. But I'm going to go ahead and let things go from here. So I'll see you all later. Have a nice, wonderful day. Bye-bye.